Well, welcome to another episode of Fuck You Dad, everybody. This week we got a real great guest, very funny Chicago comedian, Jon Torres. John, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be fun.
I do.
Absolutely.
We should mention John also has a podcast called Brick a Bracket, and it's super original, very fun too.
Which
I
is
love
rare for the podcasting world.
it. Exactly.
I feel
Thank
like
you,
90%
guys.
of podcasts are just trying to rip off the five that you can actually make money doing.
Yeah.
we did about 100 practice episodes until we figured out we're like, okay, this is the game, and now we'll ask people to do it.
That's a good idea, though. A lot of people, maybe me and Kenyon, just kind of start by winging it. And
Yeah. Don't want to name any names. Some
Yeah.
people come up with a funny name for a premise that they can't commit on. Try to riff for about 9 to 10 episodes, realize that they aren't the most interesting people alive. They don't have finite amounts of dad stories for 30 minutes every week. You got to get literally everyone you know to come on the pod and just riff about.
It's been good, though. We're starting to heat up.
We're heating it up. We got hot guests coming up. We got things are going in the right direction.
But John, did you do any comedy shows during the Great Core?
Yeah, I did. I did a whopping 3 of
Yep.
them.
Oh yeah, that's about how many I did.
What was
Yeah.
like the wackiest one, like the one in the craziest environment, do you think?
I think just because from not being around people or being indoors, it would have to be the Milwaukee Comedy Festival. I've done it.
Oh, you did the
couple
Milwaukee
times.
Comedy Festival. What the
Yeah,
fuck was that
during
like?
the pandemic, dude? It was actually really awesome.
I bet it was a good show, but I was
yeah,
like,
the-
what, it'd be a little weird to be like, this is a festival of shows, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I haven't been to a restaurant in 6 months. Like what?
Also, you want to talk about the biggest self-doubt in your mind. You're like, well, I haven't done comedy for 6 months. What do I got this weekend? Oh, a 20-minute feature set. Okay, yeah, this will
Oh
be real
God,
fun
I
and
would
smooth.
literally not know how to handle myself. At least I was just like, let me get back to doing like 8-10 minutes. Nobody was like, you
Yeah.
want to headline something? Like nobody had that much faith and no comedy for a year, Kenyon.
No, the headliner did like 45 and he crushed it. And
Right.
it was just nuts, man. I'm glad I only had to do like 20, but it was cool because there weren't a ton of people. It was like a quarter capacity, but I think people were so starved for entertainment. Like
Oh,
the
absolutely.
energy in the room, it felt like a sold out room. And
For
the
sure.
people that run the Laughing Tap and the Milwaukee Comedy Festival do just such a good job. So they
I've
definitely
heard
made it
nothing
feel
but
real.
awesome things about that club.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
that
there a
place is
couple weeks
awesome.
ago, and there was only 30 people. I think was the max, but it felt like a sold. It felt great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a great club, and they, do a good job.
Yeah,
Fuck
I
us!
think they're gonna yes. I think they're gonna give comedy on state a run for their money. You know, the Midwest comedy clubs really bring it because it's a lot of blue collar people looking for entertainment.
For sure. No, I mean, I think so too, man. It's a really great club, and I have felt that like there's definitely I don't think any club I've performed in because I haven't done any shows in like Texas or some shit. They've all been some sort of capacity. But like even good nights back in North Carolina, like maybe it's like I want to say maybe it's half, but like it doesn't. People are ready to go, man. People are bored.
Here's
They're
the
ready
thing,
for
though.
any sort of happiness.
I see a lot of sold out, but the rooms are at half capacity. I feel like we
Right.
should chill on that.
We should chill on the sold out show. You're like, dude, only 5 people are legally allowed to be in a group. So.
Yeah, you're not allowed to just say no more tickets. You don't
Yeah,
get to
they're
say sold out. That's a reserved.
Your group of
phrase,
friends showed up.
Yeah,
Gotta disagree. I need the self-esteem boost. I'm like, look at me getting a sold out show this weekend. Look at me go.
It does feel good. You're like, the show's sold out. You're like, it isn't hard. They comped one table.
They comped one table.
They comped one table. Like 4 people showed up. So yeah, it's sold out.
Some dude brought his whole improv team. I can't believe they're
Yeah.
all
Some
here.
dude brings an improv team. That's the 7:00. That's done.
You know
need
what's
to add
crazy?
A whole other show. An improv team shows
Is
up.
being an audience member for an improv troupe is like that's okay, but having an improv troupe as an audience, I've always found was incredible because they can't believe stand up because it's funny, and they like lose their mind.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I feel like I performed for improvers before, and they're like, but he didn't pretend to be a couch, and they're just like kind of judgmental assholes.
I did.
Like, I don't think I don't think that prepared statement was really all that good, sir.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go on stage and just kind of bore people to death for a half hour,
I did the weirdest show. It's definitely the weirdest show I've ever done. And it was before quarantine, and there was an improv troupe closing the show. It was a show for a bunch of nudists, and you had to be
Oh.
naked when you performed. But
Wow.
one of the funniest things was watching an improv team warm up naked and just watching dudes try to do push-ups and their dicks just hitting the floor. It's like,
Oh,
come on, man.
that is hilarious. So it was like a naked improv show.
Yeah, it was for a nudist group. It was pretty
God.
great.
Was everyone in the
Wow.
audience naked?
Yeah, they brought their own towels.
Oh, okay. So everyone's well, that's all right then.
It's
I
pretty
feel
I
like
think
if they
that would
were
still be a little weird. I'd be weird with it. I
oh,
don't
of course.
know.
Well, everyone's weird with it. I think
I don't
that's.
know. I mean,
you
listen,
know.
do you, man? But I think I'd have trouble if someone's like, yeah, just do, everyone in the audience is naked. You're naked. Like, it just feels weird to go up there and just like do the usual, like, hey, so I was at Target the other day. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, my dick's out. Like, this is weird.
No, it's definitely you
Have a
got to
good
talk
time.
about it.
You gotta have
You had a
hot
good
rip
time,
up
John.
front.
How much time did you have to do naked?
10 minutes.
And did you do any dick jokes?
The
Or did you
only-
just do?
I think the only thing I opened up with, because I was super hungover, I was be like, I'm pretty sure you guys could see my dick is also hungover.
Yeah, that's a
Very
good one.
well. I was so tired, like I was just so sweaty too from that like hangover sweat, and I'm just like,
That's
I
such a
could smell-
gross thing to
I
do
can
to
smell
people.
all
man.
the booze on me. And it's
Just a naked hungover man. You hand him a microphone.
Yeah,
I mean, can you imagine a person that needs to be heard from less than a naked hungover man? Like, just
This
take
is
him
how-
in back, take him in back and like shoot him. I mean, truly.
well, this is how selfish I am, because it's like before the show and like we're all hanging out naked. I'm like, how does smoke breaks work here? Like, is there?
Yeah,
is there
Yeah, you're like,
place
well, I
can
got to
sneak
throw on
outside?
some. I don't want to get arrested outside. Yeah.
Dad didn't bring his robe, so I think I think I'm gonna burn a couple in the car.
And what a weird thing to see. Just a guy in a bathrobe outside of a building smoking a cigarette.
Well, that's
Like
my
a
future.
cold Chicago night.
Yeah, like that guy's a retired union worker right there. He's seen
Yeah,
some
yeah.
shit.
So you grew up in Chicago, right, John?
Yeah, South Side, 83rd and 83rd and Central.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
So were you like a street rat kind of kid? You know, were you
I was
like
definitely a
scraping
like,
knuckles?
Yeah, like skating around, getting into shit with people. It was a good time, man. We weren't absolute shitheads because I don't know, like everybody in the neighborhood that I grew up in, we all knew each other, so it was kind of hard to get away with stuff, but it was still a good time.
Yeah. I envy that so much. The neighborhood feel where everyone knows
Right,
each other.
you're all tight. Yeah, my neighborhood was very much like, you say hi to someone, they're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, they're like, I have a gun, right?
Yeah. It was like,
It's-
you go out to get the mail and then just don't look at me.
Yes.
Like, that was kind of the neighborhood vibe.
But it's also weird because no one ever leaves. Like they'll buy houses next to their parents' house, and the only options are you become a union worker, a cop, or a firefighter, and that's it.
Right.
Huh. I
Well,
guess
some people
yeah,
also
like
get
the
comfortable,
suburbs,
man.
kinda. Yeah.
People are just like, well, this is like the people I know live here. Where am I gonna go? Like,
Yeah,
there's some
the wo-
people like really like, I mean, there's some people that don't even want to move cities. They're like,
Oh, I know.
oh, like that would be crazy to live like 60 minutes away from everybody. Insane, you know?
Yeah, definitely a lot of Wisconsin Dells vacations in my friend groups.
Oh,
growing
okay,
up.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
Like, can you
That's-
believe
we
went
can't
all
get
the way
too
out to
far
the
for you. Got to
Dells?
keep like a foot on home base, you know?
Yeah, a lot of dads don't trust airplanes or want to pay for them.
The trusting of airplanes, yeah, dude. I have a friend in North Carolina. He's like one of the funniest comedians I know. And it's so frustrating because he's just like, nah, man, Greensboro, North Carolina is the city. It's like, no, it's
No,
not.
it's not. It's not even the not even the top 10 cities in a state that is not the state.
Dude, growing up, one of my friend's dads traveled for work. He was a salesman. He was older than me. So his dad was definitely an older guy, like had kids kind of late. And I remember he quit his job in sales because he couldn't smoke on airplanes anymore. So he was just like, I'm just gonna drive and smoke everywhere that I want
It's-
to.
you
It's
gotta
like, wow,
you gotta
dude.
admire the balls though.
Yeah, what
He's
an
like, I'll
adventure.
turn down an income.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
buddy.
yeah. To smoke my cigarettes.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
who's the quitter
his
now?
brain would have
Yeah,
exploded.
yeah,
in
yeah,
COVID,
yeah. It
dude.
was- So, you mentioned pre-pod that you had an interesting dad yourself, correct?
Yeah, a very absent one. He was not around very much. Dad liked the sauce, and my dad's a crazy Cuban immigrant. He was
Mhm.
born in Cuba. They came over here when he was like 2,
Okay.
and they lived in New Jersey, which I guess is a hub for a lot of Cuban people.
Yeah, I think
Really?
behind Miami, it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's number 2 because they all look like mobsters. They love They love the shitty haircuts and the open t-shirt or the open dress shirts. They love them.
Yeah.
And then
with
I don't know how,
with the thin chain and the chest hair. I mean,
It's not a
Come
bad
on.
look.
Who are you
I said
talking
with
to,
the
Ray?
man with
Come
the
on.
thin chain going on.
Yeah, thin
It's not
chain on
that's
right
the
now.
worst look in the world. I say I'm tugging on my thin chain. My fade. I'm like, I'm like putting a fucking jacket on.
Yeah, but I mostly grew up with a single mom. My mom took care of me. My parents split when I was I think about 2 or 3.
oh wow, okay.
And then I grew up living in my mom's childhood home with my grandparents because she moved back home.
Mhm.
And
That's
then,
that's sitcom set right there.
oh
Right.
dude, total
You got-
fucking sitcom.
You got
I
3
remember-
generations.
Yeah, I remember one Christmas we watched Home Alone, and we had one stair in my house. I put all my micro machines in that motherfucker. Almost killed my grandpa. Grandpa took a tumble that morning. Like his morning. My grandpa didn't drink coffee, so his morning Pepsi went everywhere.
Oh
And
shit.
yeah, that's the type that very classy family. Like if you go
Let me
in the,
crack
yeah,
open my
Grab
morning.
the morning
Pepsi.
Pepsi,
Crack open a-
which just
crack open
feels
a Pepsi.
almost like grab a beer at that point. If we're just
Yeah,
going
yeah,
for
Be
carbonated
healthy.
beverage,
well, you gotta have the morning PPM. You got your morning Pepsi, and then you got your morning Pall Mall. That's the morning PPM.
Oh my
The
god!
Sabatini Torres household.
I also
Jesus Christ!
I imagine you just in your bed and you hear a loud thud and you're like, I got the robber.
got
And then
him.
you run downstairs and you're like, oh shit, grandpa's dead.
Yes. It also didn't work because I slept like a rock. Like I would just sleep through things. Like I slept
Yeah.
through like someone trying to break into our house before when I was a kid. I was like, what happened last night? Why are the police here?
I once slept through my dad dropping me, which
Wait, what?
yeah, my dad once, so I like fell asleep in their bed watching TV or something.
No, that's
And he
called
was-
getting knocked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I slept through my
Yeah.
dad punching me. It's like what?
And
He did a great job then. He fucking
So my dad's holding me and he's going down these, like, they had like 4 or 5 stairs down in their bedroom to go down to the hallway.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like takes a step wrong and just drops me down the stairs. And I was still sleeping on the floor. And then he just put me in bed.
What a terrifying moment as a father, because when the kid doesn't wake up, you're like, well, he's dead.
Yeah, yeah. Or when he wakes up and goes like, I want to be an artist. You're like, oh, now I really fucked up.
I dropped him on the left side. He's all left brain now. God
Yeah,
damn it.
Oh shit. Okay, so you did mention before that you had a funny story kind of dealing with the separation, right?
Oh yeah. So my dad's a bit of a shyster. My dad is on his 3rd or 4th marriage now, I think. I don't
absolutely
know.
gotta respect that.
Yeah.
Fucking grind.
Yeah.
They're
the
like
guy-
marriages are like beads at New Orleans, you know.
Yeah,
You just gotta
keep going.
keep collecting them.
It's always the people that should be married the least who have the most. Like it's just the
100
people that
yeah.
shouldn't breed, you shouldn't be with. They have like 4, and I'm like, just fuck people and move on. You don't need to always have like a ceremony or sign a document just because you meet someone new.
Yeah. At this point, just sign a bar napkin because that's where you guys met.
Yeah.
So my parents are splitting, right? They got a house in the burbs. My mom moves back in with my parents, and I will preface this story. My grandpa, very hard-nosed, old-school Italian guy, grew up on the South Side. Grew up in Marquette Park. He was in a street gang called the Marquette Marauders. They had matching jackets because it was the 50s, and you're a badass.
That's
Yeah.
what Scary was back then.
Yeah.
Scary was a matching jacket.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
grew up like during the Great Depression and shit too. So he like started smoking when he was like, I don't know, 8 or some
That's
shit.
how
But
stressful that shit
That's
was.
how you're like, there's no
8-year-olds.
food in here. I gotta go
there's
find
no
more.
food. You're just smoking. You're like, fuck it. This is an appetite suppressant. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And so he's definitely a tougher dude. And he was actually a Freemason. So he was into some wild shit. And he knew this guy.
Now, John,
so-
I don't mean to cut. Can you go into that a little bit? Because I know a little bit of what
You mean
that is.
Freemason like he's in the group or like he knows like Mason like he's a
No,
stone
like he was he was in the group, the Freemasons. Like I have his ring still. It was left to me when he died.
why?
Oh,
It's
that
crazy.
unlocks something in the Capitol. If you put it in the right
I-
place, it'll
It's
start
got
turning
to.
shit.
I almost fucked up. I wore that to a wedding once, not knowing that you're not supposed to wear that shit if you're not a part of the members. And like this old guy like pulled me aside and asked me a bunch of like weird incognito questions, and I couldn't answer him. He was like, "Is that your grandpa's ring?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, I'm gonna let you off with a warning, but don't wear that shit ever again if you're not a Mason. I was like, oh, okay.
Otherwise,
this is
you're-
like the mob.
Yeah, your dick and balls are mine, buddy. Okay, if I see that ring one more
It's such a
time.
mysterious thing because I can't tell if it is just old men playing important or if it's like
Yeah.
you guys are like the Illuminati. Like it's such a weird. Like is it like guys playing pretend mob where they put on robes?
It's
And like,
classified
this is
as a. It's actually classified as a religious group, which is weird.
that is weird.
Yeah, I think
That's pretty
that's
weird.
just a way around not paying taxes.
Yeah.
Well, that's smart. Yeah,
Yeah,
we should be a
God-
fucking religious group.
God
Yeah.
bless America. Yeah, comedians should be their own.
I mean, it's a
religion.
death cult. That's what it is. It's a satanic death cult. If I had to, it's Charles Manson's wet dream is every group of open micers. You know.
Yeah. It's like, what comes with this cult? Oh, bad decisions, alcoholism, and you can't hold a relationship. Oh yeah, sounds like a cult to me.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, very
Absolutely.
cult-like. That's what improv troops are a lot like. Dude, are a lot
Improv's
like
a cult
cults.
for sure.
Improv's
Yeah.
improv's like the most no, you just got to give me all of your money and then you can be friends with everybody and get all your friends to
Yeah.
come in and give this place all your money. I'm like, you're literally, I mean, it's pathetic. It's like just go hang out with a prostitute. You're just paying for friends. I mean, that's what you're
Exactly.
doing.
Yeah.
You have a monthly bill that says these people pretend that you're funny. Like it's just
Improv is just a frat without the spanking. That's
oh,
really
yeah.
all.
Or
it
getting
is.
laid.
Yeah, or that too. I don't know. Or
Well,
you're
if
all
there is
fucking-
any fucking an improv troupe, it's
they're with
incestuous.
each other. They're with each other
Exactly.
for sure. So, oh yeah, back to the story. So, like, yeah, he was. I don't know if he like knew people from the Freemasons and all this other stuff, or got help from them. But my mom came to talk to her dad, and she's like, Rich is being an asshole and all this and that. Well, it turns out my dad was trying to like steal her identity, social security number, all this crazy shit, right? And he eventually did. Like he fucked up her credit. I don't know if I should even be talking about this, but fuck it. That's a podcast before. Let's get in trouble later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, my grandpa, he was part of the forklift drivers union and the paper mill union on the south side when those were still in business in like the late 80s, early 90s, and he just retired. There were these two huge black dudes. They were the Roundtree brothers, Larry and Rick.
Oh my God.
There's a picture of me with Larry Roundtree. He's the guy that actually saved my grandpa's life once, because those giant paper presses that stamp the paper, they're like, I don't know, like 700-800 pounds. And my grandpa's hand got trapped underneath it and it crushed it. So he had to have pins in his hand. And he goes, well, there goes my smoking hand. So whenever he would go outside for cigs in the winter, his hand would be like twitching a little bit. So Larry went over there and pulled
That's how
that
much he
off of
loved
him.
smoking, dude.
Yeah,
he had a
man.
smoking hand. He
Yeah.
dedicated a
That's such a
whole
brutal-
hand
Yeah.
to
Because
smoking.
he had the pocket tee. So you grab your pack in the left breast pocket and you grab that other one. But Larry went over there and hulked that thing off of him and pulled him out. Like, with
Oh my
one
God.
hand. That's some wild shit. Larry's a big dude. And there's a picture of me, I think, with Larry as a kid. And I look like a premature dwarf baby, like in
Yeah.
Larry's hands. Like, I just look like the tiniest baby in the world because Larry's such a big dude. Like, he could stand next to a guy in the NFL and be like, oh, that guy's on the football team as well. No, he's
Yeah.
not. He's not the
Yeah.
linebacker for the Bears. That's just a guy that works in the paper mill. So my grandpa called in a favor, and it was to Larry and his brother, and they just go over there and they get out of the car and they just stand there with their arms crossed across the street. And they're like, they decide to go over there and they're pounding on the door. And my dad's calling my mom all frantic, be like, Janice, who are these two huge black dudes that are coming to the house right now? And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about, Rich.
Yeah.
So he's freaking the fuck out.
Who wants
then-
whose identity now, motherfucker?
Yeah. It's like, well, it comes with these two large baggage like handlers.
Yeah,
for the rest
yeah.
of my shit. And after that, there was no more problems from Pops.
No, right.
With
Yeah,
that
after you
shit.
get threatened with a little
stuff.
physical violence, you're like, okay.
And I know that I'm not the favorite in the family because I got a stepbrother, and my dad kidnapped him and not me. So-
Wait, what? You can't
Yeah.
just bring that up like, hey, kidnapped him and not me. You know how that goes. No, you're
Yeah,
gonna have
they're
literally
doing-
kidnapped.
Yeah, they were
Wait.
doing like shared custody or something like that, and my dad was just like, "Get in the car." and he just drove away with my brother. So he like,
that
took
is
him for-
painful
took
though,
him-
that he was
took
just
him
like in
for
the
a
car and
week.
he's like, where's the other one? You're like, if I had to pick one, if I,
Where's
if I'm
John?
getting a
It's
high
like,
speed
well,
chase with one kid, it's gonna be you. I mean, you're good at soccer,
Basically, yeah, it's like, wait, you mean the one that never stops talking? And no, I'm gonna take the quiet one. Yeah,
Yeah.
get in the
Yeah,
car.
no, he's cool.
we got
He's
a
probably
long
gonna beat somebody.
long car ride to Canada. So
Right. So
You remember how to pack Dad's smokes? Good boy.
you can never really deny that either. Like that's an open. It's like he's definitely the favorite. You're like, yeah, I was willing to go to jail for that kid.
Yeah.
I was fine not seeing. I was fine with
fucking
you just kind of fading away.
Yeah.
I think I'm the favorite because my parents. I'm either the favorite or my parents just talk shit about the other sibling, like to the, you know what I'm saying? Like when they're with my sister, all they do is talk shit about me, and then they're with me, all they talk about is shit about my sister. So I think it's like our only talking point at this point. They're like, "Oh, what are you doing, comedy?" Anyway, Emma did this fucked up thing the other day.
My
Like
mom
it's the
is-
only thing
my-
we have in common.
My
You
mom
need
is
that.
like
though.
she's hit an age where like I know when I get a call from her, I'm like, well, this isn't gonna be good. She just got a new bad thing to brag about. She's like, can you believe what these motherfuckers did this week? And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh boy. Gonna have to strap in on this one.
All right, John. Well, do you want to plug anything before we head on out?
Oh shit. Yeah, if you guys could go check out my podcast at it's Brick a Bracket. We do it's like a game show where we take a bunch of different ideas and we mash them all into one. So we do no pop culture, no food, no nothing, and we do a bracket style competition for what the best thing is. So we'll do like worst hairstyles, like worst ways to make money, stuff like that. So we're always looking for new ideas. So go check that out.
That's
It's-
fucking great, man.
It's super fun to listen to and like never dull, and I love it. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
So
man. I
John, thank
appreciate
you so
that.
much for being on, man. It was such a blast.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you for watching. Wasn't that funny? Wasn't that a great clip or full episode? Do you want to watch more? Because I got more. Oh, we got more. We got full episodes and we got clips right here and right here. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook for updates on live dates for both me and Kenyon. You know, if you have a dad story that you want to that you want to share with us, feel free to DM any of those. Or email us at fckyoudadpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you. And keep watching. Please share it. Tell everybody. Tell literally everybody you know about this podcast.